All right, welcome back. Joining us now, the parish president of Lafourche Parish, Mr. Archie Chaisson. Archie, good to see you again. How are you today?
I'm good, Martin. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. We're talking to the FEMA External Affairs Officer, John Mills, and I got to tell you, I'm happy hearing some of the things that are taking place. We're getting some monies on the ground, rightly so. I think more in Lafourche and Terrebonne because more damage, but I think y'all have some trailers on the way too. So all in all, I've covered FEMA a lot and I busted their butts a lot, but I got to tell you, I'm at least hopeful of what they're doing now.
Yeah, I was on their tail a good bit last week, and whether it was the screaming that worked or whatever, we're going to take what we can get. We came in this morning, and our FEMA guy who's embedded here with us let us know that there was a mission that came across to start the kind of reconnaissance efforts on the big list of places that we could put campers in the large spots, and then what the assessment of the individual properties would look like if we decided to put them, or if they decided to put them in driveways. So the Corps of Engineers is working on those assessments on the big spots, and we're going to be working to kind of narrow down the checklist we have from a permitting aspect to give to those guys as to what we would need if we put them in your driveway. So that's a good step. It's a huge step forward. Our bigger deal is how do we get these campers on the way? What's the timeline to actually get them dropped off here, get them assigned to people? So you will see a post coming out from the parish shortly that if you are in need of a FEMA trailer or some sort of sheltering, if you don't want to come to our shelter, the Laurel Civic Center, and you want something in your driveway, kind of what we call a direct housing aspect of FEMA, you can call the EOC. We need your name, a phone number, the address of where you live, what was damaged because of Ida, and if you're living at a different address now in case we need to track you down, what that address is. So we'll be putting out that information shortly. So hopefully by the time your listeners see this later, that post will be out there and we can start to collect that information.
Now, what I've seen in storms past or just in leadership in general, I've seen parish presidents that have to morph into getting on someone's rear end and making sure they get something because something's stagnant. And I've watched you do this, and I've watched Gordy do it, and I've watched the results of you doing it, and it gets people off of the center. And so the job of a parish president isn't just, making sure every day department heads are doing their job or whatever. Sometimes you got to get tough, and that's the only way to make the ball move, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. And that's what I think at the end of the day, what our constituents expect from us is to fight as hard as we can to get them what they need. And in some cases, that's, you guys, I think everybody's seen the video of me yelling at the phone last week with FEMA on the other end of it, talking about what we needed and how infuriating it was for us to hear that they have trailers somewhere, but they're looking for a place to put them, hence my response to them. But sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes getting a little verbal with those guys and using some colorful language, as I've said multiple times, to get that done. And look, there's going to be a lot of armchair quarterbacking after all this is done about how we could have done things better. And there's going to be a whole lot of hot washes. And this storm, for as strong as it is, opened up a whole lot of holes for us in how we can do things better from a response perspective. Hell, we learn something new every day about how we can do things better. So it takes some fortitude sometimes to do what we got to do. And sometimes you got to swing a big stick.
Now, let me ask you, because, and once again, we've talked about it before. I'm seeing all the reports that came out of Fouchon on the winds, and then I'm seeing people disregarding those things and trying to debunk them. But when I saw those storm chaser videos, I came in early this morning and I watched 4 of them. When I saw the winds that were going through your area, there ain't no way in hell this ain't the most evil hurricane I've ever seen. It convinced me that this was the worst of the worst.
Yeah, there is no doubt in my mind from talking to Chet down at the port and seeing some of the wind data that their tenants have driven up to us, that this thing's going to be reclassified as a Category 5. And we saw every bit of 200-mile-an-hour winds down there. We had every bit of 160-mile-an-hour sustained winds, even up the coast, 40 miles off the port by the time it got to us here in Matthews. So yeah, I think we're going to see, and in fact, I probably know we're going to see a Category 5, and it's going to be classified as the strongest storm to ever hit Louisiana. Hence why we're pushing so hard to rebuild things, whether it's the coast, whether it's our homes, whether it's putting more money into levees and flood protection. Our system fared well, but that's not to say it can't fail next time. And I don't think it will. But the more money we have to build these things higher, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah, Jim Donlan was on the show last week. As a matter of fact, he was leaving here to go see you, and he was asking me what you were up against over there, and I said, look, they got whammed over there. I said, but Archie's got it going on. They got a good team over there. And he told me this is going to surpass Katrina as far as insurance claims. And he even said on the show, if the levees wouldn't have held in Lafourche and the levees wouldn't have held in Terrebonne, we would have had a stronger hurricane and worse than Katrina.
Yeah, I can't imagine what would have happened, especially in South Lafourche, if that system would have breached and we'd have started to fill that bowl per se from Golden Meadow on up. I mean, it would have been. I mean, it's horrendous as it is, especially the homes that did flood in Industrial Park and Bayou Buff and in Des Allemands. I would hate to see that spread out over thousands more homes. But luckily, God graced us, and while it caused some damage and it's going to take us a while to rebuild, it always could have been worse by far.
Well, we always said we can try to stop the water. Ain't no way we can stop the wind. We can't put a dome over all the parishes. But I want to commend you again. Today I'm trying to commend as many people because record time, y'all got people with power on. You still got a ways to go, but y'all moving at a record pace.
Yeah, no doubt. And we're probably about 32% of the parish still without power. And as you see Facebook posts throughout the day, more and more people are getting power. I think hopefully we surpass that September 29th date and we get power to Golden Meadow a little sooner. The big push there is to get that substation kind of fixed up so it can actually receive the transmission and start to push out. But overall, I think they've done good. Still some critical parts without power. I think Bollinger's, Valentine Chemical, those areas along 308 in the lower Lockport, Valentine area are still without, and that's things that need to be back powered up so we can keep industry and the economy moving. It's Fouchon up, Loop is up, or on temporary power, which helps them. But then we step back and focus on those mom and pops that really are the bread and butter of our economy.
Thank you, Archie. We appreciate your time, and we'll check in with you again tomorrow.
Thanks, Martin.
All right, we'll be back. Don't go away.